This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good afternoon, students. Today class, I'm going to start unit one, that is economic operation. So already I given an overview on what is about PSOC, that is Power System Operation Control. So what are the topics you are going to study and what is the information you are going to get in this subject. So the name itself indicates that here the main agenda of this subject is how we can operate and how we can control the power system with minimum cost in optimal way condition. So optimal way is nothing but among the different ways, which one is the best way we can control and we can operate the power system. In that, I am going to start the first unit, that is economic operation. So economic, the name, the title says that how we can operate the power system, how we can deliver the load to power with less amount of cost. And here also we can get the knowledge about how we can schedule the power. Suppose I will give one example. If a generating plant consists of three units, unit one, unit two, unit three. Now the plant has to deliver that 800 megawatts. That is means the maximum load demand is 800 megawatts. In that, within the three units of plant, which unit has to generate what amount of power to attain the 800 megawatt load. So that is called as scheduling, and this scheduling should be depends on the different types of parameters. So what are the parameters means? The first one is what is the maximum level of boiler condition in that particular unit, what is the capacity of generator, what is the turbine ratings. So these are the internal ratings or pressure for the scheduling. And suppose there is a one more topic is there. If suppose if the plant is generating particular amount, in that in the particular amount out of 100%, 2 to 5% is needed for that plant alone. Why? Because for operating the conveyors, for operating the motors. So these are all used by the in plant only. So out of 100%, the plant needs 2 to 5%. Remaining 95% only it delivered to the transmission system. So now let me see that what are the how we can optimum operation of thermal power plant we can done. How we can scheduling the generating capacity to the plants in the different among the different units. What are the ratings? What are the factors should be affected on this scheduling? Let me discuss. Right. This is the first topic from unit one, that is optimal operation of thermal power unit. So in thermal power plant, it consists of number of units. So in that units, how we can schedule the power based on the load demand. So that is going to know in this class. So first, what is the main intention of this topic means generally every not only thermoplant, every plant consists of a number of units. So with different capacities, let me take hydro power plant, wind power, thermal power plant, nuclear, whatever it may be. Each generating station consists of a number of units, and that unit should have the different identical or different capacities. So one unit has that 100 megawatts, one unit has the 200 megawatts, like that. In that particular, based on the ratings and based on the capacity, we have to schedule that. And so in particular condition, there are certain conditions. Two power plants are interconnected for maintain for peak load conditions. Suppose if the hydro and thermal power plants are both are interconnected, and these two are working based on the peak load condition and base load conditions. Now So how we can interconnect means there are certain conditions. So there's two, the power generated by the two power plants should have the same frequency. Then only we can deliver. Then only we can deliver the pure form of power to the load. And so interconnected electrical power system is more reliable. Why? Because there is no interruption of power supply. So suppose if there any problem occurred in the one plant, the alternate power plant is running as a spinning reserve. So that is the meaning of spinning reserve means if there is something is happening in the main power plant, the other power plant is acting as a main load. So that plant is called as spinning reserve, and it should be useful when the peak load demand is occurred. And this type of interconnection is offers better regulation characteristics, since actually what is the need of interconnection means the load is should not constant. Suppose the constant load is 500 megawatts, but the 500 megawatts is not constant. Sometimes it may be more than 500, sometimes it may be less than 500. So based on the load demand, we have to plan which plant should be economical to deliver the load. So that is the reason most probably in present electrical system, two generating stations are interconnected. Now, suppose one more thing is, so if the 100% of generation, in that 100%, 5% is used by the internal plant, and remaining 95% is transmitting to the load. But the 95% is not delivered to the load. There are some losses. So based on the losses, only the generating stations are generating the power. Suppose if the load is need 500 megawatts, but the generation generate the 600, because while transmitting the power there are certain losses will be there. So to reach that 500 megawatts, the generation should have to generate more than the load demand. So and one more thing, so in that there are one is the main reason is the planning of power system. So planning of power system means is if you want to establish one power generation station in a particular area, there are certain conditions act as a vital role. One is which you should be nearer to the load, and land requirement and water availability. So there are different parameters are involving in the planning of power system. So this is under analysis purpose. So before establishing the power plant, we have to analyze that. So where we can keep the power station, and if the power station is nearer to the load or else. So if the if the power is transmitted to the load, if there is any losses will be occur, like that we have to plan that. Due to this planning, there is a possibility of economic operation on the power system. So it involves that a selection of suitable generating unit. It means that which unit is capable to generate the power based on the load demand with less cost to satisfy the power demand on the energy supply. So this is the introduction about how we can operate the in economical point of view to the power system. Next step, optimal operation of thermal power unit. So the word optimal is nothing but a better way. So better way in the sense, suppose you are, I will give you an example. Suppose you have, so this is your, and you have to reach a destination like this, and there is a three ways to where I can reach here. 1, 2, 3. So in these three, suppose it is 10 kilometers, it is 9, it is 8. So when compared to the three, which one is better for you, then you can choose that way, right? So that is called as optimum. The same thing in thermal power plant, it has a number of units, right? In that units, which unit can be generated power with less amount of cost. So we have to optimize that. So how we can optimize that means depends on the statistics analysis, that is previous operation. And in this condition, what are the factors involving means the first one is planning, operation and control of interconnected power system presents a variety of challenge problems. So already I said, so planning operation means there are certain challenges or we have to face. One is land problem, nearer to the load, and water availability, transmission system. So these are the challenges we are facing while planning the operation, and how we can control. So control also one of the major challenge. Why? Because the load should not constant. So it is keep on going to change based on the due intervals. So based on that load demand, we have to control that. So these two challenges are facing in the power system. One is planning of operation. Planning is scheduling. So which unit has to generate the power like that. And controlling means based on the load demand, we have to control. So these two parameters are challenging, facing the challenging problems. And one more thing, in this area, the economic operation of the system, which means that so there are certain economical problems are there. One is unit wise, like interconnection, the power supply, the fuel economy. So different factors are involved in the economic operation. And third one is in this the transmission lines losses to apply an important role. So this point also we have to consider that. So based on the losses also we have to generate the power. So how it will means, suppose the load demand is 500 megawatts and we are generating that 500 megawatts. The same power should not deliver to the load, because in between this there are certain losses. After losses, it will get only 400 megawatts. It means that the load should not satisfy that. If you want to satisfy the load, you have to generate more than the demand. Suppose if the maximum demand is 400 megawatts, you should have to generate 600 megawatts. So that is the capacity, not that is the 600 megawatts capacity I have to involve there. So after that, after the losses, you will get approximately nearer to the load requirement. So that is the factor involved in the optimal operation. Next. So what are the characteristics of a thermal power plant? So I already said that for in a power plant operation, we have to consider certain factors involving that. The first one is the analyzing the economic operation of thermal stations, modeling of input and output casting assumes significance. So what is the meaning of this means? Suppose if you want to categorize the power plant, that is thermal power plant, we have to draw some certain graphs among the different parameters. That is the heat rate curve, next incremental fuel curve, incremental cost curve. So suppose if it is fuel heat rate curve, so it means that what amount of temperature is needed to generate needed to use for the particular generating speed. So that is called as heat rate curve. Yeah. And the next one is incremental fuel curve. Suppose if the load is suddenly increased, how much of fuel is needed for extra? So that is called as incremental fuel curve. Next, incremental cost curve. So if there is a lack of availability of fuel, we have to buy from some area. So at that time, the cost should be more. So after that, we have to give some more burden on the customers. So that will be given by the incremental cost curve. So these are the different types of characteristics are using for the economic operation of a thermal stations. Next one is, for this purpose, a single unit compromising of boiler, turbine, and generator may be considered. So this type of characteristics we are considering for individual. So suppose if the plant is having three, right? So in that we have to categorize that three units alone. After that, which unit is giving the better performance, then we can consider as a premier one. It means that so we can give the first preference that particular unit because it's giving the better characteristics than others. And one more thing, the unit has to supply power to the local needs. So out of 100%, the plant needs 2 to 5 by boiler feed pumps, condenser, circulating water pumps, fans. So these are all inter power plant operations. So for this, it needs that 2 to 5%. So out of 2 to 5%, the remaining is only 95% of total power generation. And this has to be generated to the, this has to be transmitted to the load. And this amount should be, this type of generation, it is could be used in the two ways. One is kilocalories per hour or rupees per hour. It means that for 1 hour, how much of kilocalories will be needed for the boiler. Same thing for 1 hour, how much of rate it requires for generating the particular load. Suppose if a first unit 1 have to generate 100 megawatts. For generating 100 megawatts, how much of amount is required? Like that. Next one is the net output of the unit that is supplied into the system at the generator bus will be in kilowatts and megawatts. So these are the characteristics of a thermal power plant, and here we see that how we can analyze that economic operation of a thermal station. Next. Next one. So until now we categorize that individual, that is unit 1, how we can how it will be working based on different factors, that is heat rate curve, incremental fuel curve. Suppose unit 1 has to generate 100 megawatts. For that, how much of amount it will be needed. After estimation of cost, which one is having the less amount of cost, we have to give them priority. So based on cost, based on performance, you have to give priority. And when scheduling the process, you have to give the first priority of which unit has the less amount of cost and better characteristics than others. So that is called as scheduling. So after due to this, we can so this type of process is called as economic scheduling, and this scheduling is a cost effective mode of generation. It means that it is completely belongs to the cost. Okay, and this type of selection is called as optimal operation. And the analytical solution proposed in general for optimal operation depends on incremental cost concept. The main factor is cost. So based on the cost, we have to schedule the which unit has to deliver particular amount of load, that is power. So that is about characteristics of a thermal power plant and in the point of economical way. Next. So until now we discussed about what are the characteristics of thermal power plant, how we can estimate the cost for particular unit, what are the characteristics we have to consider them. Now, what are the different steps we have to schedule particular load. So it means that unit 1 how much I have to generate, unit 2 how much I have to generate, unit 3 how much I have to generate. So based on that, we involve the in 4 steps. What are the 4 steps? Means the first one is collect a list of the expected electrical loads in the facility. So it means that what is the first step means we have to collect that what is the demand required by the load. Suppose if the load is required 300 megawatts, and we have to generate more than this, because to satisfy the load based on the losses occurred in the transmission system. So there are certain losses will be happening in power plant also. Why? Because while converting energy from mechanical to electrical, there are some losses will be occur. So to rectify this type of losses, the power plant has to generate more than the load demand to rectify this type of losses, that is in in plant or transmission line losses like that. And step 2 is for each load collect the electrical parameters. So this is the one of the most important step. Why? Because our load is 3-phase system and single phase system, right? So in this system we are using different types of devices like refrigerators, motors, whatever it may be, and these devices have the different ratings and different power ratings, different power factors, and different efficiencies, current rating. They have different parameters, right? So based on that, every device should require that certain amount of energy. For that, you have to we have to collect that what are the load, what are the parameters are device using in the load. Based on that, we have to generate the power. Suppose let's consider that motors, refrigerators, and TVs, washing machine, whatever it may be. So this device having that different power ratings, different power factors, and different voltage level also. Based on this, we have to generate. So this is the second step. So we have to collect the data. What are the devices are using in the load side, and what their capacity, how much of power factor it would be required. So then only we can generate that pure form of power. So then customer should be satisfied then. Next, third one is classify each of the load in terms of switchboard location, load duty, and load criticality. So what is the meaning of this one? Means certain loads should be needed 24 hours. Certain loads needs 12 hours. Certain loads 6 hours. Suppose agriculture is there, right? So if agriculture needs only approximately 6 hours power supply, like for education systems, hospitals, industries, 12 to 20 hours. So based on the durations, we have to classify that at what time we have to generate the power. So agriculture requires 6 hours, right? For agriculture, how much of power is required within the 6 hours? For industries, offices, educational institutions, like that. For that, how much of power is needed? And one more thing, the load is nearer to the generating unit or far away the generating unit. So based on the location, also it should be one of the factor. And load criticality. So load criticality means in certain loads require the constant power, like agriculture. So agriculture means require the constant power. There is no deviation. So if it is 6 hours, means 6 hours require the constant power, right? So in that, how much we had to generate to satisfy the agricultural load? Like that, we had to consider involve the step 3. And next one is step 4. For each load, calculate the expected consumed load. After calculation of time duration intervals, for agriculture, how much of load is required? For industries and institutions, how much of load is required? For traffic light system, how much of load is required? So this and all we have to tabularize that. After this process, we have to schedule them units, right? So these are the 4 steps involving in the scheduling of power system. That is power plant. So this is the one of the most important questions here. So what is the procedure to calculate the load scheduling in the thermal power station? So we have to involve in the 4 steps. The first one is collect the list of expected. So what is the maximum load from the load, maximum demand from the load, and what are the ratings using in the load parameters, and so what are the how the load requirement based on the time periods. And step 4 is how much of power is required per particular load. So these are the 4 steps involved in the scheduling. Now we'll go for next one. So the first one is, that is collect list of loads. So it means that in load side, what are the different loads are involving, and what are the capacities, how much of it requires. The first one is process loads. So these are the loads and that are directly relevant to the facility. That is motors, heaters, compressors, conveyors. It means that so the loads that are directly relevant to the facility means these all devices are running in plant only. So in generating plant, and there, so it requires that out of 100 it requires only 2 to 5%. So it is the most important question. What is the facility requires that power among the 100% means 2 to 5%. So this all devices are running in the generating plant itself. Out of 100%, this device requires that 2 to 5% for working purpose. Next one is, so this called as processes load. And next one is non-process load. This means it is out of station. That is outcome auxiliary loads that are necessary to run the facility. Example, lightning, utility system, power and water, DSC, PLC. So these are the lights, and these are the out of station. It means that lightning, utility system, that is power and water pumping, and PLC, that is control unit, fire safety system. This and all is not related to the generating unit. So this has to collect that. After that, they can divide that what is the load is required for the load and internal power plant. So this is the first step. Now we'll see the second one. Next one is collect electrical load parameters. So I already said, right? So in a load side, every electrical device should be rated power. So that is the maximum power, and we had to collect the data, and based on that we had to generate the power. Suppose see here rated power. So rated power is the full load. Full load or nameplate rating of the load, and represents the maximum continuous power output of the load. For motor loads, the rated power corresponds to the standard motor size is 11 kilowatts, 37 kilowatts, 75 kilowatts, etc. So this rated power means that is the maximum, that is full load power, or mentioned in the nameplate. Next, observed power. So observed power is the expected power that will be drawn by the load. So it means, what is the meaning of this observed power means, suppose if a motor is running at no load condition, it won't take that maximum load. So based on the load condition, it will track the power until it reaches the full load. So that is called as rated power and observed power. Rated power is that is the maximum capacity of a particular device, and observed power is it should be depends on the how much of load is connected to the particular motor. And power factor. So in generally the power factor in all devices should be in between 0.8 to 1. So here the power factor also act as a vital role. If the power factor is less than less than the 0.5, the device should draw the more power. So its lifetime also decreases. So that's when each electrical device should have the power factor in between 0.8 to 0.8 to 1. So this is power factor also one of the major consideration while collecting the data for electrical loads. And efficiency. And this type of power factor is decide that efficiency of a electrical device. Why? Because how much of power is requiring to the run the device and what is the output. So these two parameters, that is input output, it should completely depends on the power factor. So based on that you can get that efficiency. Generally efficiency in electrical systems, the most probably efficiency should not reach 100%, right? So because of this type of power factors and this type of unbalanced load conditions. So that's why we have to calculate that what is the efficiency of a particular device in the load condition. So this is the second step. Now we'll go for a third. That is the classification of loads. In load side, we have three different loads. One is three-phase supply and single phase. Among these two, there are three conditions are there based on the voltage levels. So that voltage levels are I mentioned here. If the loads having that less than 150 kilowatts, that is called belongs to the low voltage condition, low voltage system, and requires that 400 volts to 690 volts. And the next one is if the load having the capacity in between that 150 kilowatt to 10 megawatt, this belongs to the medium voltage system and its capacity is 3.3 kV to 6.6 kV. Next, if the load is maximum 10 megawatt, that is HV, high voltage distribution system, and it is voltage rating is 11 kV to 33 kV. So this is the classification of loads based on the power capacity and based on the voltage levels. So it is category three types. One is low voltage level, medium voltage, high voltage. Next, load duty. Load duty means suppose if a particular load out of 24 hours, how what is the time it should be running. So some loads are running at only 12 hours, some loads are running 6 hours. We have to collect the data among this. See, continual are the continual loads means are those loads are running 24 hours period. It means that they are running at 24 hours. So what are the example for this continuous load is process loads, control system, lighting and small power distribution boards, and UPS system. So these are continuous loads. Why? Because if suppose control system, so if we there is a one control unit for power system, right? So it is keep on going to control that. So it is a process of 24 hours. And lightning and small power distribution boards. So distribution is also 24 hours supply working condition and UPS system. So these are the loads are called as continuous system. So this is the data we have to taken out before the scheduling. That is called as classification of loads. It should be depends on based on the power levels and voltage levels. Next, see here after what is the main schedule, what is the main intention of scheduling means, I will show you I will showing you three equations, right? C1, C2, C3. Here C1 is a cost. Suppose if a plant consists of 3 units, so for the 3 units this equation is belongs to the unit 1, unit 2 and unit 3. In that, C1 is called as cost of a unit 1 plant, and C2 is called as cost of unit 2, C3 is called as cost of unit 3. In that, what is the representation of this equation is, this equation is called as cost equation. General form is Ci is equals to alpha I plus beta I PGI plus gamma I PGI whole square. So this is the equation, increment cost equation. This is called as increment. Here alpha, beta, gamma, these are all constants. And PG, this is the power. I is called as unit number. If it is 1, I is equal to, so this is PG1, PG2. Now what you are going to find means, you have to find that what is the power scheduling for the generating unit 1 and unit 2, unit 3. So you will get a problem like this. So they will ask like this. So they will give 3 equations. In that, what they will ask means, suppose if the power demand is if the power demand is, that is PD, it is given by PD, that is power demand 800 megawatts. In that 800 megawatts, so let me see that power unit 1 capacity is 450 megawatts, unit 2 is 350 megawatts, unit 3 is 200 megawatts. In this 3, which one he has to, so suppose our total requirement is 800. Here what we will get, 450 and 350, 800 plus, so he generating capacity is 1000, but our requirement is only 800. So for generating the 800 megawatt, which plant has to generate? Suppose if it is 450 capacity, right? So it can generate 400. So to satisfy this load, for this 300, for this 100. So that is called as scheduling. So if you do like this means, you can reduce the cost of operation. So in this type of problems, we have to find that what is the generating power plant unit 1, generating of unit 2, unit 3. After finding this, you have to find the total cost. So in that, there is an initial cost, that is CD before scheduling, and after scheduling we have to compare that. So if there is any deviation occur, that is after scheduling of cost should be less than the initial cost, then only the operation should be in economical process, right? So that is about optimal operation of a thermal power plants. Now I will ask something new. Satish.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So I will ask one thing. So if 2 power plants are interconnected, that 2 power plants are thermal power plant and hydro power plant, right?
Okay.
So
Okay, sir.
which plant is better economical generation when compared to these 2?
Hydro.
thermal power plant, hydro power plant ఉన్నాయి. ఆ రెండు ఇంటర్కనెక్ట్ అయ్యి ఉన్నాయి. ఆ రెండిట్లో మనకు ఎకనామికల్ ఆపరేషన్ ఇస్తుంది.
ఎకనామికల్ గా ఇది హైడ్రో ఇస్తుంది.
హైడ్రో. వై? what are the reasons?
మన కాస్ట్ వాటికి మన కాస్ట్ పే చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు కదా సార్, బై కంపేర్ టు కోల్.
Right, remaining. So there are certain parameters of there.
Yes sir.
ఇంకా ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి చెప్పు. మెయింటైనింగ్ కాస్ట్. సో మెయింటైనింగ్ కాస్ట్ వచ్చేసి ఎక్కువ అవ్వాలి, దీనికి తక్కువ
తగ్గొచ్చు సార్.
సో మెయింటెనెన్స్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ లో కూడా హైడ్రో పవర్ ప్లాంట్ ఇస్ బెటర్ దాన్ ద పవర్ ప్లాంట్.
yes sir.
తర్వాత ఇంకా ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి?
ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ చార్జెస్ కూడా మనం రిడ్యూస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు సార్.
రైట్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ ఆర్ ఇన్వాల్వింగ్ ఇన్ దిస్ టు అమంగ్ దిస్ టు.
ఓకే సార్.
భాగ్యలక్ష్మి ఉన్నారమ్మా?
గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ సార్.
గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్. సో ఇప్పుడు మనం డిఫరెంట్ స్టెప్స్ ఇన్వాల్వ్ అవుతాయని చెప్పాం కదా ఫర్ షెడ్యూలింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఆపరేషన్.
ఎస్ సార్.
సో ఆ 3 స్టెప్స్ లో ఏదో ఒక స్టెప్ చెప్పండి. సో మీకు గుర్తున్నది ఇప్పుడు చెప్పాను కదా, ఆ 3 స్టెప్స్ లో ఏదో ఒక స్టెప్ చెప్పండి. సో
Cost
చెప్పండమ్మా.
C1, C2, C3 అని చెప్పారు కదా సార్. కాస్ట్
రైట్.
టెస్ట్ చేసుకొని ఆ షెడ్యూలింగ్.
రైట్, ఓకే. నెక్స్ట్ వెయిట్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. మంజనవల్లి. Manjanwali is there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hello.
So, what are the problems we are facing while establishing the thermal power plant? ఒక థర్మల్ పవర్ ప్లాంట్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేయాలంటే ఏమేం ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ మనకు ఫేస్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది? యూ కెన్ సే ఎనీ.
వాటర్ అవైలబిలిటీ చూసుకోవాలి సార్ ఫస్ట్. ఫ్యూయల్ అవైలబిలిటీ, వాటర్ అవైలబిలిటీ.
So there are certain
transportation.
Right. So transportation, water, land requirement. Okay, now, so these are the challenges we are facing while establishing a thermal power plant. Right. Thank you. Next, Chandana.
Sir.
Right. So మీరు థర్మల్ పవర్ ప్లాంట్ చూసారా? మీతో విజిట్ చేస్తారా? థర్మల్ పవర్ ప్లాంట్ విజిట్ చేస్తారా?
Yes, sir.
రైట్. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకు ఒక థర్మల్ పవర్ ప్లాంట్ డిఫరెంట్ యూనిట్స్ ఉంటాయి. యూనిట్ 1, యూనిట్ 2, యూనిట్ 3 అని. సో ఒక్కొక్క యూనిట్ లో ఏమేమి డివైజెస్ ఉంటాయి? వాట్ ఆర్ ద డివైస్ ఇన్వాల్వింగ్ ఇన్ ఈచ్ పర్టికులర్ యూనిట్?
సార్,
ఇప్పుడు జనరేటింగ్ స్టేషన్ లో నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ యూనిట్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, యూనిట్ 1, యూనిట్ 2, యూనిట్ 3 అని. ఒక్కొక్క యూనిట్ లో ఏమేమి డివైజెస్ ఉంటాయి?
సార్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది సార్.
సరే, మెసేజ్ చేస్తాము. సో దీనికి ఆన్సర్ చేయండి అమ్మా. What are the components are having in single unit of power plant? చందన్ ఆన్సర్ చేయండి అమ్మా. మీకు మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి చూడండి ఆ క్వశ్చన్. Right, boiler, turbine, right. So now question for Vinita. Vinita is there? Vinita, voice వినిపిస్తుందా?
హలో.
సార్ చెప్పండి సార్.
సో ఇప్పుడు మీకు క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతాం, దానికి చెప్పండి, ఆన్సర్ చెప్పండి. సపోజ్ ఒక జనరేటింగ్ యూనిట్ వచ్చేసి 100 మెగావాట్ జనరేట్ చేస్తా ఉంది. ఓకేనా? సడన్ గా లోడ్ డిక్రీజ్ అయింది, అంటే 100 నుంచి 80 మెగావాట్స్ పడిపోయింది. సో హౌ వీ కెన్ కంట్రోల్ దట్ యూనిట్? దాన్ని ఎలా కంట్రోల్ చేస్తావు? ఏ వేళ చేయొచ్చు? So wait, I will message that question. So this is the question for us. How we can control the generating unit if the load is reduced from 100 to 80 megawatt? So there is only one way we can control the generating from particular unit. So what is that way? So I need answer quickly. Siddha Mahesh.
సార్ చెప్పండి.
అదే ఈ క్వశ్చన్ అడిగిన కదా దానికి ఆన్సర్ ఏంది?
ఫ్యూయల్ కంట్రోల్ చేస్తాం. ఫ్యూయల్ ని కంట్రోల్ చేస్తాం.
ఫ్యూయల్ నా ఇంకా ఫ్యూయల్ కాదు. సో ఫ్యూయల్ ఆల్రెడీ మనము కోల్ గా యూజ్ చేసేది.
అంటే సార్ స్టేషన్ బట్టి ఉండదు సార్. హైడ్రో పవర్ స్టేషన్ లో అయితే వాటర్
సో వాటర్ అంటే వాటర్ ఫ్లో తగ్గిస్తాం. ఓకేనా? నేను అడిగే థర్మల్ పవర్ ప్లాంట్ లో ఏ విధంగా రిడ్యూస్ అయితే దాన్ని కంట్రోల్ చేయగలుగుతాం? ఓన్లీ ఒకే వే మాత్రం ఉంది, ఆ వే అని చెప్పండి.
స్టీమ్ కంట్రోల్ చేస్తాం సార్.
రైట్. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద బెటర్ ఆన్సర్. ఎందుకంటే మన స్టీమ్ వాల్ ని కంట్రోల్ చేస్తే వీ కెన్ కంట్రోల్ ద ఆపరేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఎ టర్బైన్ as well as generator. Then automatically the generating unit is controlled. So why? Because here the entire process should be depends on that how much of steam is falls on the turbine. Okay na? Our steam based on turbine rotate avutundi. Based on the turbine, generator will be rotate. Based on that, power will be generated. Okay na? So if you want to control the generating unit, the load is very little. So it should be directly controlled on the steam. Okay na? Steam valve ni మనం కంట్రోల్ చేస్తే ఆటోమేటిక్ గా మనం జనరేటింగ్ ని కంట్రోల్ చేయొచ్చు. సో ఆ స్టీమ్ ఆ వాల్వ్ ని ఎలా కంట్రోల్ చేయాలి, ఎంత కంట్రోల్ చేయాలి అది మీకు సెకండ్ యూనిట్ లో వస్తుంది. సో దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ మోడలింగ్ ఆఫ్ స్పీడ్ గవర్నింగ్ సిస్టమ్. ఇట్ మీన్స్ దట్ it should be governing that what is the speed happening in the turbine as well as generator. So that is the way we can control in the thermal power plant when the load is suddenly decreased or suddenly increased. Okay na? Right. So do you have any doubts until now? So this is the first topic in the first unit, that is optimal operation of a thermal power unit. So tomorrow I'm going to show some graphs. After that there is some problems. Okay na? So ప్రతి ఒక్కరు just notes on a paper దగ్గర పెట్టుకోండి. Then only you can understand that the problem what I'm saying here. Next Pavani.
Sir.
So what is the relation between power factor and power consumption, ma?
Sir.
What is the relation between power factor and power consumption?
Power factor, power consumption, sir.
Yes. So there is any relation? అంటే పవర్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ ఎక్కువైనప్పుడు ఎలా పవర్ కన్జంప్షన్ ఉంటుంది, తక్కువైనప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంటుంది? There is any relation? ఏమన్నా చెప్తారా లేదా వినాలనుకుంటారా?
సార్ చెప్పండి సార్.
చెప్పండి. What is the relation between power factor and power consumption? Anybody? Power factor low.
పవర్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయినప్పుడు పవర్ కన్సంప్షన్ తక్కువ చేసుకుంటారు సార్, ఎందుకంటే కాస్ట్ పర్ యూనిట్ పెరుగుతుంది కాబట్టి.
So it is a inversely proportion. If the power factor is more, power consumption will be less, right? So that's why every load should have the power factor in between 0.8 to 1. Okay na? So ఇప్పుడు వచ్చే ఎలక్ట్రికల్ డివైస్ లో స్టార్స్ ఇండికేషన్ కూడా దానిపైన ఉంటుంది. Based on the star levels, it consumes a much amount of power. So that is the relation between power factor and power consumption. Right. So next. Asmita.
Yes, sir.
All right. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను ఆ డిఫరెంట్ స్టెప్స్ చెప్పాను కదా, షెడ్యూలింగ్ ఆఫ్ లోడ్ పవర్ అని, షెడ్యూలింగ్ ఆఫ్ థర్మల్ పవర్ ప్లాంట్ అని, స్టెప్ 1, స్టెప్ 2, స్టెప్ 3.
2 steps చెప్పాలా సార్?
చెప్పండి, ఏదో ఒకటి చెప్పండి, మీకు ఏది గుర్తుంటది, వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ మే బి.
Collection of list expected electrical loads, sir.
సో అందులో ఏం చేయాలి మనం? సో వాట్ ఆర్ ద ప్రాసెస్ ఇన్వాల్వ్ ఇన్ దట్ స్టెప్? చెప్పండి.
అంటే మనం ఏదైనా ఒక లోడ్ ని ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఫెసిలిటీ ఉంటది కదండి సార్, అందులో దాన్ని
right. So you can give the message also, no problem. So it is better, ఎందుకంటే సిగ్నల్స్ కొంచెం వీక్ ఉన్నప్పుడు వాయిస్ సరిగా వినపడదు. జస్ట్ యూ కెన్ గివ్ ద మెసేజ్, యువర్ ఆన్సర్. యోగానంద, యోగానంద,
గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ సార్. సార్ గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ సార్.
ఈరోజు క్లాస్ విన్నావా?
విన్నాను సార్.
వాయిస్ క్లారిటీగా ఉందా?
ఓకే సార్, నేను టవర్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళా.
రైట్ 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 రైట్, సూపర్.
చెప్పండి సార్.
చెప్తావా? అడుగుతా.
ఏదో అడగాను సార్, ట్రై చేస్తాను తెలిస్తే.
సో వాట్ ఆర్ ద డిఫరెంట్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ థర్మల్ పవర్ ప్లాంట్? సో మనకి ఇప్పుడు క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ డిస్కస్ చేస్తున్నాం కదా, సో యూ కెన్ సే ఎనీ వన్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ థర్మల్ పవర్ ప్లాంట్. సో యూ కెన్ గివ్ ద మెసేజ్ ఆల్సో. సో మెసేజ్ ఇవ్వలే, మాట్లాడదామన్నా.
క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ అంటే మనం షెడ్యూల్ చేసుకోవచ్చు సార్.
రైట్.
షెడ్యూల్ జనరేటింగ్ యూనిట్స్ ను అలొకేట్ చేసుకోవాలన్నమాట. అదొక స్టెప్ లాగా చెప్పొచ్చు మనము.
రైట్. సో ద మెయిన్
ఆప్టిమల్ ఆపరేషన్ ఆప్టిమల్ ఆపరేషన్ అని చెప్పారు కదా, అది కూడా. ఆప్టిమల్ ఆపరేషన్ అంటే మామూలుగా మనం ఎకనామిక్ కాస్ట్ ను జనరేషన్ ను బట్టి ఏ విధంగా మనం యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవాలో అట్లా కూడా డిఫైన్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అనమాట.
సో ఇట్ మీన్స్ దట్ రిడక్షన్ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్.
అవును సార్, కాస్ట్ ఎలా రెడ్యూస్ చేసుకోవాలి అంటే ఒక్కొక్క ప్లాంట్ లో ఒక విధంగా ఉంటది కదా. మామూలుగా ఫ్యూయల్ అవైలబిలిటీ, మామూలుగా రిసోర్సెస్ బట్టి. ఇప్పుడు మనం పవర్ ప్లాంట్ తీసుకుంటే వాటర్ ఫ్యూయల్ గా యూజ్ చేస్తాం, థర్మల్ లో అయితే కోల్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం. అట్లా దాన్ని ఒక్కొక్క దాన్ని బట్టి ఒక విధంగా ఉంటది కాబట్టి అట్లా చెప్పొచ్చు సార్.
Sure. Okay. Right. So okay students, this is about optimal power scheduling of thermal unit. Now tomorrow class I'm going to give what are the characteristics involving the thermal power plant, that is incremental fuel. So I will show you graphical representation. So based on that, how we can schedule the optimal way. After that, there is some problems based on that. What is the cost if the plant is generating this much of amount of load? So there are certain problems are there. So we will going to discuss. So from tomorrow class, you have to keep your notes and calculate also for calculating the problems, right? So thank you for this class. And I have already sent the materials to you. So that is Google Classroom. So you can go through that. If you have any doubts, you can contact me. Thank you.